Welcome to the Daily's Double Shot. I'm Arnold Chan.
And I'm Christy Hamilton. This week we profile the ASUW presidential candidates.
Kylie Walchuk takes a look at last weekend in Husky sports.
Brianna Lai reports on the Darfur fundraiser.
Kylie Walchuk recaps on the WTF panel on school budgets.
Caitlin Chow covers the Student Labor Action Project.
Kimberly Spalding quizzes our campus on Cinco de Mayo.
And Gideon Mari ventures to the Polynesian Festival at Red Square.
All coming up today on the Daily's Double Shot.
Ooh, what is that? Chinese.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. Okay. First up, we hear from each ASUW presidential candidate.
My name is
Beto Soto.
It's Christini.
Madeline McKenna.
Samuel Martin.
Kyle Fuller. And I'm running for ASUW president.
President. And I'm running for ASUW president.
We asked the 2010 ASUW presidential candidates what sets them apart.
My community has also been a huge part of me, and I know that from the other candidates, my community's been a bit different, and the way that I've actually grown up here in the UW has been a little different from others and the other people's stories. So when I come into office, I come in with like a new, fresh perspective.
I find myself in that position where I've been acquainted with the system and understanding of how ASUW works, but I pose that one unique experience where I have not been pretty much shadowed in ASUW my entire college career.
I'm not doing this for a title or for a resume builder. In fact, it kind of makes me nervous that with a title, because I think people can get jaded once they have a business card, once they have their name, or their picture in the bookstore, which honestly that kind of freaks me out, having my poster in the bookstore. But I really want to do this because I want to help students.
I think I stand out because I really bring the right blend of experience, vision, leadership to the presidency. I've served as ASUW Vice President this year and had a number of successes working on projects such as the UPass.
I definitely think my story plays a big role in it, coming from a system, the foster care system, which is pretty much set up for youth to fail. I experienced various different types of abuse, neglect, but through it all, perseverance, making sure that I kept fighting. I think that because of that, it makes me a stronger individual as a whole. I've been through a lot, and I know that there's a lot that I can help and contribute to the University of Washington.
One thing in common that we all do have is we just want to grade with the UW experience and how the students view the UW and how the ASUW interacts with students.
I realized that there are certain things I was unsatisfied about in my education and my experience here at the UW. Nothing that boiled me over, but few things that I wondered why they weren't being fixed. And at that time, I was unaware of how I, as an individual, just a student attending the UW, could change my experience and those for many others. As I looked into it and I did some research, I found out, ASUW does do those things and that they're the voice for us. And so I considered, why aren't these things changing? They seemed quite obvious to myself and many others. And so I started considering, well, I can make that change. Why can't I run for president? Why can't I do things that make a difference?
Why should people vote for me? Because I want to be a servant to them. I want to be a servant to their needs, their concerns, their issues, and their rights for every student. I really am passionate about this job. I have no more plans for next year except to become president. And I hope that passion, that dedication shows through to the students when I do talk to them, when I do come to a forum.
I'm running for president because I think that students at the University of Washington face huge challenges next year, and I think that students need someone who's going to be able to lead them through those difficult times. So we have a number of different challenges facing students next year. Of course, budget cuts. Next year, the legislature is going to have to balance the biennial budget. We have the hub closing down, the Ethnic Cultural Center closing down, and everything's moving to Condon. That'll be another challenge. And then, of course, President Emmert will be leaving for the NCAA, so we'll be without a president as well. And so that'll be another tough challenge for the university.
I'm running for president because I think that my skill set, being an advocate that worked in the foster care system, and I've been in Olympia, you know, ever since I've been working in the foster care system when I was 16. I got to go to Olympia. I got to testify in front of the Senate. I met legislators. I met the governor. I met people, you know, who are important in that system, and I have advocates and friends who are willing to fight on behalf of the issues that I know are close to me in that system. And I think that's important when it comes to having a representative for the students.
I think with president comes a lot of responsibility to really help students both individually as well as RSOs and different organizations on campus. And I'm really excited to take so much of what I've learned through other people, through my fellow employees, other students, my advisors, and really give that back to students and help them figure out, whether they're putting on a program or they're trying to figure out financial aid, just to give and impart any wisdom that I have. Wisdom, that seems a little of a loaded word, but any information that I've learned, and give that back to students and really help them to become the best person, best student that they can be.
We also asked the candidates what kinds of skills have prepared them for the role of ASUW president.
I've helped coordinate a campaign to gather public opinion about how students feel about the UPass and where they might want to see that program go in the future. So I've helped get thousands of students to weigh in on this important issue. I've also founded and directed the Husky Mentors program, which grew to 1,000 members in its first year. So I think I really have the right balance of leadership experience, both on campus and off.
And I'm good with people. I mean, you can look at, I'm at fraternity, social events, you can look at, attend church, like how I cast vision and bring people along with no resources, but my own voice and my own passion.
My passion and my servant leadership style, I would say. Also, the way I was grown up, the way my traditions, my values have been, I want to carry that into my office.
And, I am just really grown at this school, and that's because of student leadership. It's really allowed me to, push myself and really go out of my comfort zone, and I want to give back. I want to give back to ASUW, and I want to give back to the school, and that's why I'm running for president, and that's what I think makes me a little different.
I also am very skilled in working with teams and working with different people. I know how to bring the strengths out of people, and I think I'm an overall all-around leader.
You can vote online at MyUW May 10th through May 12th.
Well, I know who I'm going to vote for.
You can't say that on TV.
Good. I didn't actually have anyone in mind.
Next up, spring sports with Kylie Walchuk.
It was a busy weekend for Husky sports. First up, rowing. Fans flooded the Montlake Cut to cheer on the Huskies as they competed in the 24th annual Windermere Cup rowing regatta. Nearly 700 rowers came to the University of Washington to participate in the event. After a variety of thrilling races, the Huskies men and women took home the prestigious Erickson Cascade Cup, beating Oregon State University and Western Washington University. Then, in the highly anticipated Windermere Cup, the Husky men and women placed first again, rowing by Syracuse University and the Oxford University Rowing Club. The Huskies celebrated their victories with the boat parade for onlooking fans. Next up, baseball. On May 2nd, Safeco Field hosted the University of Washington baseball team as they played the Stanford Cardinal. Safeco Field gave UW students free admission to the game, and many Husky fans were in the stands to show support. Harry the Husky led UW fans in cheers, contributing to the positive energy on the field. Over the course of several innings, UW took the lead, eventually winning 7-1. UW swept Stanford in the 3-game series, putting their overall record at 24-19. And finally, let's check in with Husky football. Fans filled Husky Stadium for the Friday Night Lights spring football game. The devotees stayed through wind and rain to cheer on the Huskies as they battled each other in the white versus purple game, which marked the end of spring practices. The crowd roared as veteran quarterback and fan favorite Jake Locker took the field to start the game. After providing the white team with its first touchdown, Coach Sarkisian took him out to give new quarterback recruit Keith Price some time on the field. Also getting a loud welcoming cheer was new recruit Nick Montana. He lived up to his hype, giving fans a glimpse of Husky football's future. The game also featured competitions between quarters, which included a hot dog eating contest and a game of tug-of-war between coaches and fans. The game ended with an exciting drive by the purple team. With 1 second left on the clock, Nick Montana kept the ball and ran into the end zone. But the play was done over due to a ruling by Coach Sarkisian. However, the quarterback was able to score again with a short pass tying the game. The white team, unable to block the point after kick, left purple to win the game.
Do you play any sports, Arnold?
Does cricket count?
Yeah, that's a sport.
No, I don't play any sports.
Next, Brianna Lai reports on stand.
Which is students taking action now. Darfur.
Darfur is the western region of Sudan in Africa. It's one of the largest countries in Africa. And they've been in conflict basically for the last 50 years since their independence in 1956. Only 11 of those years have really been peaceful. So they've been constantly in civil war, and this has involved several different groups, mainly the north and the south regions of Sudan.
Happening right now, which is completely atrocious, is that women are going unprotected. They spend most of their life in these refugee camps looking for firewood to make the food for their family, and they're not just taking care of themselves in camps, they're taking care of their own children, and they're taking care of the children who have lost their parents.
A lot of people are unaware. I've spoken to groups, and people would say, I thought that was all over. You've been talking about this since 2005. So it's very important to have events like the event that UW Stand put on tonight. This brings people together and makes them aware that the situation is ongoing and that they can do something to help.
And one thing that we can do here, halfway across the world, to protect these women especially, is give them access to solar cookers.
Tonight, the funds that we do make will go directly to the Jewish World Watch, their solar cooker project. All the funds that we make go to them. $30 buys 2 solar cookers.
They're just basically cardboard and foil that reflect the sunlight and heat up like a little plastic bag that you can put either water or food in.
What we want to do with the Solar Cooker Project is to keep the women in the relative safety of the camp, where they're not going out walking miles and miles away, spending hours every day looking for firewood, where they go unprotected. There's bandits. The Janjaweed, which was a militia that carried out the genocide, are still roaming this area, and the women are very vulnerable when going out alone, so they end up getting raped, beaten, branded.
300,000 people have been killed from these attacks that we consider genocide.
Students, of course, they're going to college, so they're not expected to have deep purses. It doesn't have to be about money. It's not all about money. A person can make a phone call to their legislator. Sometimes just telling another person, your friend or your club or your classmates, having that discussion about Darfur can be so very, very beneficial. You can reach out and touch people.
In this day and age, we have so many more tools to connect ourselves to the political process, the humanitarian process, and really the financial process that funds these atrocities. And today we have those tools to say never again for genocide.
The Where's the Funding panel, or WTF, informs students of the UW's financial crisis.
Here's Kylie Walchuk with the story.
Students and panelists gathered in the Hub Auditorium to discuss budget cuts and answer the question, where's the funding? We talked with Andrew Doman, a panelist at the event, and a reporter and editor for The Daily, who also works as a Seattle Times reporting intern. He lived and worked in Olympia this session as the Skagit Valley Herald's legislative correspondent.
The idea was to bring a panel together of people who had either been in the legislature or kind of knew what was going on a little bit, and talk about the higher ed funding crisis in front of students who are interested in that.
A lot of difficult decisions will have to be made.
Other panelists included Margaret Shepard, Director of State Relations for the University of Washington; Mike Bogatay, the Executive Director of the Washington Student Association, an organization responsible for advocating for students across the state. Also, there was Frank Chopp, the 43rd District Representative and Speaker of the Washington State House of Representatives.
I don't think this is a time where anything can be taken for granted.
Last was Leslie Goldstein, the Executive Policy Advisor for Governor Christine Gregoire.
I think it went pretty well. We definitely talked about, I think, the right sort of issues.
Although informative, the event did not draw the large crowd it hoped for.
I kind of wish there were, well, I don't know. I don't know if I wish there were more people, because maybe I would have been just freaked out talking to an auditorium full of people, so I think it went well.
Up next, Caitlin Chow profiles the student activist group SLAP.
Some students at the UW want Nike to just pay it. According to the Seattle PI, in January 2009, Nike fired over 2,000 Honduran employees from the Hugger and VisionTex factories without warning. Since then, Nike has not paid these employees their $2.6 million severance package. Nike also did not provide health care for its employees, even though the workers paid for it every month. 2 Honduran factory workers came to speak at the UW last Wednesday. They talked about Nike's human rights violations. These women, Gina Cano and Lauli Urquay, worked in these factories when they closed down.
How can we, in the face of this reality, offer these children or even accept promises of further training programs? These training programs aren't going to clear our debts that we've incurred as a result of having to take food out on credit. It's not possible for us to accept this.
At this talk, freshman and SLAP member Morgan Courier realized that Nike's actions are far more reaching than she had thought.
One of them, I think it was Gina, started talking about how she couldn't afford to send her daughter to elementary school anymore because she didn't have the money for that. And she started to cry, and that really upset me. That not only is this affecting the workers, but it's affecting their families, and they can't get their children an education that they deserve. And her daughter was in elementary school. You know, she should be going to school. So it's really unfortunate.
Last year, the UW SLAP got the school to cut ties with Russell Athletics, another athletic clothing brand. SLAP also had President Mark Emmert send Nike a strongly worded letter which still has not gotten a response.
Nike is becoming more and more embedded in our campus in terms of the collegiate, in terms of the athletics department, and it's the #1 licensee on this campus. And I think that, I hope that the next president considers a licensee's record with worker treatment before they, make movement on signing big historic contracts.
So now to find out more about the Nike campaign, visit justpayit.usas.org. Reporting for The Double Shot, I'm Caitlin Chow.
So Arnold, what did you do for Cinco de Mayo?
Well, since my parents watch this show, let's just say I drank hot cider and watched reruns of Golden Girls.
No, really, what did you do?
I'll tell you later. Next up, Kim Spalding asked students what they think about this spicy holiday.
Since this week is the week of Cinco de Mayo, we're going to go around campus today and see what students know about this Mexican-American holiday. Do you know when Cinco de Mayo is?
Not the exact date, but kind of in the springtime, right?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah, I do know when Cinco de Mayo is.
Do you know when Cinco de Mayo is?
The 5th of May.
May 5th.
Do you guys know when Cinco de Mayo is?
The 5th of May.
I believe it is the 5th of May.
Do you know what we're celebrating when we celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
I'm celebrating the 5th of May. I'm not sure.
I don't actually know what's celebrated, no.
No.
Not really.
I took Spanish and they explained it pretty thoroughly, but no.
I want to say it's for the liberation of Mexico.
I'm going to venture a guess, the independence of Mexico.
It's supposed to be Mexican independence, but that's not totally true.
I think it's called the Day of the Dead.
Isn't it the Day of the Dead or something like that?
Not quite. That's in November.
Oh, okay.
It's about the Batalla de Puebla, the Battle of Puebla, which is when Mexican army defeated the French, and it was only one battle. It wasn't the war. They actually lost the war.
Do you have any ideas what maybe like a traditional celebration may entail for Cinco de Mayo?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Do you know what a traditional Cinco de Mayo celebration is? Not at all.
Traditional Cinco de Mayo celebration. I wanna steer away from saying piñatas, but I feel like maybe there's some like piñatas happening.
I've seen Corona commercials with Cinco de Mayo being advertised in them, so I'm going to go with Corona.
Well, okay, my apartment is having tacos. That's about it. That's what we're doing.
At my house, we eat a lot of food.
Everyone eating and in a circle, I don't know, like just a big fiesta.
What do you think most UW students like to do to celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
I have no idea. Drink and eat Mexican food.
Students around campus, they'll probably be going to Chipotle.
Parties, like Cinco de Mayo party is a lot of fraternities and sororities put on parties.
What I've heard from friends and stuff, there's a lot of drinking, a lot of parties, a lot of stuff like that.
I think people go out and get loaded.
I don't know. Usually it's just getting drunk with your friends.
I know it's mainly excuse for drinking. I just remember in Spanish, is it Dias de los Muertos? Is that it? Is that the same thing?
So it looks like some people know all about Cinco de Mayo and others are still learning, but that's okay. I know I'm excited for the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Reporting for the Daily's Double Shot, this is Kimberly Spalding.
Next, we check out the Polynesian Festival with our reporter, Gideon Mari.
On April 30th, the Pacific Islander Student Commission held Poly Day to showcase traditional Islander culture through dance and music.
Poly Day is an exciting annual event. It's hosted by the Polynesian Student Alliance. It's the 11th annual Poly Day this year. It's just a great way to show the people who we are as a people. It shares about our history, our ancestry, and the pride that we have with our culture. We do have island representations from Tahiti, from Samoa, from Tonga, from Hawaii, and from the islands of Maori. Throughout the academic year, we hold events to unify the Pacific Islander community to the rest of the student body. This is something for our Pacific Islander, for our Polynesian constituents to look up to, that we do have a voice, that we are something, that we are a part of this campus, and I feel it's very important to reach out to our younger brothers and sisters.
That's it for this week's episode.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on Double Shot.